I've just followed this trickle of information that I had at the time. And as the years have passed, it's become a river, a flood, and now it's a tidal wave. And with every step I have taken along that journey, the picture has got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. If you come into this area of research with any preconceived idea and any belief system to defend, then you might as well go and watch The Price is Right or something. Because your belief system will start to edit the information. And because of what happened to me in Britain in the early 1990s, when I was ridiculed just a little bit, I let go of the prison that most people live in. The fear of what other people think. We need, not to care what other people think about what we say, and we also need to follow information without an editing belief system. Information, if we open ourselves to it, can get us out of a lot of trouble. And if we don't have that information, it can put us in a tiny, tiny prison of reality and sense of possibility. And if you are a network of a few people who seek to manipulate and direct the lives of billions, absolutely essential to that is to suppress information that would let the people see, A, what's really going on, and B, even more important, the true magnitude of who we are. You have to persuade infinite beings, multidimensional infinity, which we call humans, to believe that they are ordinary men and women in the street with no friggin' power. And to do that, you have to spend centuries and centuries suppressing the knowledge and the information that would allow people to see the true genius that we all are. Instead of being infinite beings, the idea is to put us in these eggshells, as I call them. Eggshells overwhelmingly made up of the four-letter word that controls the world, fear. So we shut out all that infinite levels of ourselves.
Only on Be Positive.
All that knowledge, inspiration, wisdom, understanding, instinctive knowing. And we operate in a fraction of who we are. Only then can the few control the mass. And if people think, and I understand it, that a few people couldn't control this planet because there's too many people to control, well, they just have to look at what happens to herds of sheep every day all over the world. If those sheep expressed their uniqueness and didn't succumb to fear, if they thought for themselves, it would be impossible to control those sheep. But how is it done then? We find that we have actually out-sheeped the sheep. We have dispensed with the sheepdog. We police each other. And what that means is that he who sets the norms in society, what is considered right and wrong, moral and immoral, possible or impossible, sane or insane, sets a mental and emotional human sheep pen, which the vast majority of people will live in because they're not thinking for themselves. And that leaves a few who look at these mental and emotional prisons, these norms in society, and they can see that they're limited, that they are flawed, and at their extreme, they are manipulating in pursuit of control. And when you get to the edge of these mental and emotional prisons, comfort zones, some people call them, and you know that if you go any further in speaking your truth and living a different lifestyle, You know, if you go any further, you're going to meet condemnation and ridicule for the crime, and that's what it's become, of being different. What is the source of that fear? Shall I, shan't I? It's not fear of what people in apparent positions of power will do. What's going through the minds of people who are saying, shall I, shan't I be me, or shall I be someone else's version of what I should be? It's, if I do, what will my mother say? Oh my God. What will the people at work say? Oh my God. In other words, the people who frighten others into conforming are those who are already conforming. Because if people want to give their minds away and give their lives away to someone else's version of reality instead of their own, that's fine. I have a problem with that. Be my guest. Have a cup of tea.
Only on Be Positive.
That's not the point that we pass that gives the few the ability to control the planet. It makes it easier, yeah, but it doesn't cross the line where it becomes possible. That line is crossed when those who concede their mind to someone else's norms then insist that everyone else does the same. Because that's when the human race becomes not only the sheep, but the sheepdog. That's the point when we police each other. And when you've created this herd mentality, my goodness me, it's been around for a few thousand years now, and you've got people to police each other, what you do then is you break up the herd mentality into warring factions. What you do is you create organizations and belief systems that can be played off against each other, like religions, political parties, economic systems, and all this stuff. And then you get people to fight and war with each other. So now we're not only a herd mentality, the herd mentality is at war with itself. And while we're cussing each other and shouting each other and blaming each other, the few are pulling the strings of all sides. Because if you are going to hold a position of global control, you have to have conflict and chaos. You try manipulating harmony. You try manipulating people who have respect for another's right to be different. Someone with a different vision of possibility shows that the norms are not the only possible reality.
There's a wonderful singer in this country, a German called Gila, who, it's a lovely song, which goes, "We are the power in everyone. We are the dance of the moon and the sun. We are the hope that will never hide. We are the turning of the tide. If we can turn the tide within ourselves to freedom from fear, then we turn that tide outwardly in the planet. And all it is, like everything else, is a choice between fear and love. That's all it is. We can choose to be frightened. We can choose to hate. It's a choice. Or we can choose not to fear, and we can choose to love. Not love on the basis of I love you if I fancy you, darling, but I love you because you exist. I love you whatever. I love you without condition. And if we want to change the world, it has to start with self. Fear,
Only on Be
anger,
Positive.
hatred, condemnation, dictating what other people should be. That's the world we've got. That's the prison. But paradise is waiting. It's a thought, an attitude away. That's all it is, a choice away. Love. If we love each other and love the world, our lives are fundamentally changed, and the world is fundamentally changed. And we are the generations, strange as it may seem when you survey the world today, we are the generations, I passionately believe, who are going to love the world into the paradise it really should be and was always designed to be. Changing the world is not something in the future anymore. Oh, I hope it'll be better for the kids. It's here and now. We're going to see it happen. Another song. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? More and more people across this planet are screaming yes to that question. And we are the generations who are going to love the world to a paradise.